All right, here we go. Welcome back to another episode of Be Inspired Podcast, where we're inspiring you to live the abundant life you deserve. We're back with another awesome episode I got for you. I know a while back I posted a video about being present in the moment, but I didn't deep dive on how to be present in the moment or what you need to do or where did I even get the theory of being present in the moment. So whether you're rushing through your day, caught up in regrets from the past or anxieties about the future, this episode is to remind you to come back to the now. Because all that matters is the now. The only place that life truly happens is right here in the now. What I said in the last minute is already in the past. But right now is the moment where life happens. All right. So my favorite analogy or my favorite way to like bring this point across is like, you ever been driving down the road where you got to your destination and you came up like, oh man, how did I get here so fast? Yes, you was mindlessly driving or scrolling on your phone or maybe watching a movie, listening to an audio or listening to music. But your mind, you were unconsciously driving down the road. So this episode is to try to help you become more present in the moment and be able to acknowledge the moment that we live in. I know sometimes it's like, oh, let me grab the phone and post an Instagram video, take an Instagram picture. But life is so much more than sharing your life. Sometimes you just gotta take in the moments. Like for example, like when I graduated grad school, I took a cruise and Princess Cruise Lines was in my demographics. Meaning that for at the time I was that was 2016, I was 26 years old. But the people on that ship was maybe in their 40s to 70s. So me, a 26-year-old, and me and my friends, all in the same age group. And then it's just the activities were Bible study, stuff for older people. So always research your cruise. Side note, always research your cruises before you jump and just book a cruise. I've been on Royal Caribbean. I heard they're good. Not heard, but I experienced it. Their program director is really funny. At least for the ship that I was on. I know Carnival is the party ship. Never been on it, but I've been on Royal Caribbean, I think twice. But anyways, all that being said, life is fast paced. You know, we scrolling on Facebook while driving, never taking a moment to just slow down and be present. The first time I heard about this was when I was in grad school. I was in my orientation, I heard about it. And then my my intro to trauma and resilience class, the first thing we learned was about The Body Keeps the Score, which is a book that it talks about how your body processes trauma. And it's a really interesting book. And then in that class, it taught me to just, each day we had to do mindfulness exercises. So for me, like, that class allowed me to process the trauma because we all have trauma. My trauma specifically was experiencing domestic violence in my home. I don't talk about it much. I haven't, like, oh yeah, that's my story. I haven't shared the stories, but I've been through that and I was able to get some closure of what I've experienced in my trauma and resilience class. So one of the things we used to do every day when we got into that class was mindfulness exercises, because that professor believed, he was a therapist as well. He believed that you have to be able to bring the client to the present in order for them to have an extraordinary experience and be able to clearly deep dive into what's going on in the past to move forward with the present, right? So every day we would do mindfulness exercises. So I want to share one with you that I did with one of my previous clients recently. So join me with this exercise, all right? So if you're not driving, mind you, if you're driving and you want to partake, just be mindful of traffic and what's going on around you. But however, if you're sitting at home, practice this exercise with me, right? The first part is look around and name 5 things that you can see. For me, I could see a punching bag. I could see the computer. I could see the camera in front of me. I could see the storage bin in front of me. And I could also see one of my children's strollers, right? So those are 5 things that I could see. And just think about them. 5 things in your scenery that you could see right now. All right. Now we're going to talk about 4 things you could feel. What can you feel? I can feel my face. I can feel the desk that the computer is on. It's smooth. I could feel my shirt, the material, S3. And I could feel the mouse while I'm moving it around, right? So then we're going to move on to 3 things that you can hear. I could hear the car outside driving by. I could hear my daughter upstairs walking. And I could also hear the sprinkler outside that just went on. And all this is just to bring you your awareness to things around you, to being in the moment, to being able to acknowledge stuff that you didn't really acknowledge when you were scrolling through life or passing through life or rushing through trying to figure things out. Because we're always in 2 places in our life, right? We're either in worrying about the past, the regrets of the past, going through, man, I shouldn't do this, or reliving our past traumas, which most of us get stuck there, or we're being anxious, real anxious about the future. What's going to happen tomorrow? Most of my clients that I talk to is always worrying about, well, what am I going to be when I grow up? Kind of thing. And it's just, look, let's start with being present. The future we have no control over. All we have control of right now is just the present moment. So I want to continue. Go ahead and notice 2 things that you can smell. So my wife's a great cook. I smell her cooking. And then I could also smell, what else I smell? I could smell the perfume, the cologne, not perfume, but the soap that I showered with. So those are 2 things that I could smell. And this is just utilizing the 5 senses. There's many other exercises you can do. And the last one I invite you to try is to acknowledge one thing you can taste. Right now, there was a strawberry lemonade that I was able to taste this morning. Earlier this afternoon. Pretty good. I know most of you probably think, oh, strawberry lemonade. Let me go try that after this. But noticing these things that we discussed just a while ago. What did you realize about your body? What did you realize about everything that you noticed? Did you notice the colors? Did you notice how they felt? Did you notice it was big or small? And it allowed you, what came up as far as it allowing you to see being the moment? Nothing else mattered once you were looking at how big the object was or what the object was, but you were right here in the present with me, right here. So that's what mindfulness and being in the present moment means. It's just realizing deeply that the present moment is all that you ever have. Like, yes, the past is gone, the future is coming, but right now, what I'm gonna finish with is in the future. You don't know it, but um, whatever I said already is already in the past. So, how can you start becoming present in the moment, right? We did one exercise right there. Um, so there's some other stuff you could do as far as maybe box breathing where you focus on your breath. You inhale, hold for 4 seconds, release for 4 seconds. So box breathing, 4 4 4. You inhale for 4 seconds, release for 4 seconds. Let's see. Hang on. I saw it right here. I had pulled it up for one of the practice exercises, but it's inhale for 4 seconds, release for hold for 4 seconds, release for 4 seconds, and pause for 4 seconds. So box breathing is another good exercise that you could use. And then just sitting and observing your thinking. Just observe your thinking. Set a timer and sit quietly, no interruptions, and just see where your mind goes. For me, when I did this exercise, it went to like, what am I doing in the future? What am I doing now? But my mind wandered, but I gave myself space so I could be able to take that time and just listen to my thoughts and see what do I really want out of life. And then it's so much about being present that we go through life thinking and doing everything that everyone else wants us to do. Oh, go to school, get a good job, get a high paying job, and then live happily ever after. But that's so much of that is social programming or your parents' goals for you. But sit down and realize and figure out, what do you really want from your life? And for me, I ask my coaching clients that as well. And it really lit a fire under him. And he was able to really sit down. Yeah, I want freedom, but what do I want about the freedom, you know? And that's when life really starts happening for you. Um, so one thing I did when I started becoming present in the moment is becoming aware of my body. I started living in the moment. I stopped sharing so much on Instagram and Facebook, and I just started enjoying being in the moment because that was much more priceless to me. Yes, granted, it's good to show your friends what's going on in your life and what's happening, but I realized that once you're in the moment, it's just a beautiful thing, and sometimes you just want to take in all the experience versus just sharing it, you know? So that's what happened when I started being present in the moment. So I know we talked about a lot. We talked about being present in the moment, how you could do it, what types of exercises you could use. There's also other exercises. There's a plethora of exercises you can use to become present in a moment. I know I said one about observing your thinking. You can use the wandering mind. Let your mind just wander on different things and just let it go and then try to bring it back to focus. Or you could just sit there and listen to your thoughts. There's many different ones. I could share some of them with you. And then what does this do for you, right? What does being present help you do? For me personally, being present, I'm not worried about the past or future. I'm just here trying to serve and be a person. I'm here in this body and I'm just being a guide, being taking care of this body, being present and sharing my experience of life with you guys. So it reduces anxiety and overthinking. It improves your mood. And then also it builds emotional resilience. That's very important in life. Like I was talking about my trauma and resilience class. Like, most people, if you share your story, whenever you share your story, like, most people aren't able to go through some of the things that you may have gone through, but your story may inspire them. Like, I wouldn't wish my story on you. Like, I won't want you to experience that. I don't want my children to experience that. But we've all been through something. Whether it's being sexually abused, whether it's substance abuse, whatever it is, maybe attempted suicide, whatever you've been through, there's some type of trauma that you've been through. And I'm here to tell you that learning to become present in a moment, yes, you do need to see a qualified therapist, which I am working on. Right now, I'm a registered clinical intern, working on my licensed clinical uh, um, social work license. So, but I would recommend you to see a therapist if you want to start processing your trauma. And then it helps just boost concentration and improve communication, as well as it improves your mood. Like, you feel much better because being, you're not over there being anxious about the future, or you're not over there being um, worrying about the past, right? And just let go of worrying. One of the things that I realized that I did when I started letting go of being present in the moment was letting go of worry. Because what happened for me is when I realized it, and it so happens that this happened in grad school as well, I was worried about my passing my tetanus booster shot so I could be able to get admitted to the VA to do my internship. So I was just worried. I was like, man, I wonder if I'm gonna pass. Man, I'm worried. Um, Something happened with my insurance, and I had to get it through the school, and it was something going on, and I would have missed out being able to work at the VA, which I really wanted to do, just because I've been prior military, and then also because I wanted to work with veterans to see how the system is, but also to help with PTSD. PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. But after worrying so much, I realized that when I got there, everything just worked itself out. I was like, why was I worried about all of that? And in that moment, I realized that worrying doesn't matter. When you when you just release the situation, everything works out. Everything works out like it have to be. And in the moment when you're worrying about it, it doesn't seem like it's gonna work itself out. But if you did the steps, or you did whatever you need to do, life is gonna work itself out the way it needs to be. And that's when I started. That's when I stopped worrying about results, or things of that things that are out of my control. That's a better way to put it. But imagine just being able to go through life in the present, not worried about the past, not worried about the future. All that matters is here. And that's what I want to leave you with this week. Just go through this week, just being present, observing, being more mindful of the things you see, what you hear, what you taste, feel, and touch. And I hope you have an awesome week this week. And we'll see you next week on the Be Inspired podcast, where we're inspiring you to live the abundant life you deserve. So, with that being said, I hope you guys have an awesome week, and catch you next week. Have an awesome week. Peace out.